Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums, and today I have a weekly reading video for the week of Sunday, June 21st through hopefully Saturday, June 27th. So I know I haven't done one of these in a while. We'll put that there then, since it wants to pop out. Because I have just been super busy and have had a lot going on, as I am having a major surgery on Monday, tomorrow. And so that's also why I don't have my nails done, so don't laugh. My nails are kind of scraggly, and hopefully here pretty soon I can try to heal my nails too, because it's been about 5 years of me wearing acrylics without any breaks, and so as I try to heal from my surgery, I will like to, just kind of get some of other health issues in order as well. So I do, want to say thank you to everyone that has reached out and has been so kind and has checked in on me, but my surgery isn't until tomorrow. I'm trying not to be super anxious about it. So let's see what this week has in store for us. We do have the summer solstice today. So it is Litha. So bless Litha to those that celebrate. And, I hope that as, we have one of the longest days of the year, that you are getting out and getting some sun, enjoying the warmth, if that's something that you enjoy. Me personally, not so much. I'm not a hot weather girl, so we'll see how things go with my recovery, with it being the hottest season of the year. So it's officially summer, so everyone that's been excited for summer, this is your time to shine. So I don't know if I'll be able to do another video next week. I will try my best. We'll see how recovery goes and how I'm feeling. I'm hoping it is smooth sailing, and I'm going to try my best not to push myself past my own kind of personal limits. So let's kind of see what we need to know for the week as a collective. So first card is the Seven of Wands. I feel like I'm always pulling the Seven of Wands. All right, so what do we need to do as a collective? We have the Queen of Swords reversed. All right, we had this little jumper earlier too, so let's kind of get her back in frame. Let's see what we need to release this week as a collective. We have Death, Rebirth, reversed, I guess. And then finally, what do we need to contemplate as a collective? We have the Chariot reverse. So it is Cancer season. Now let me just make sure we're on the right track, because it's been a while since I've busted out my cards. So that's good. That's good. All right, not reverse. So we have the Queen of Swords upright, reversed, reversed. Okay. All right, so let's kind of get into the reading and see what is in store for us this week and what we need to kind of keep in mind. So I'm going to talk about this jumper first, because I wanted to just kind of pop out and do its own thing. The Five of Cups to me is a card of grief and loss, and really not seeing what is still available to us after we have experienced something that maybe didn't work out the way that we had intended, or didn't really come together the way that we had anticipated. Now, cups are obviously very much about our emotions, our feelings, our connections, our intuition, how we relate to one another in different ways. The fives in tarot can typically talk about strife and challenge and obstacles and conflict. And so I feel like maybe this will be a week where there may be some sort of emotional conflict, some sort of emotional loss that we're feeling. And so we may not always know what comes after the things that haven't really come together the way that we had anticipated. Now, what I do like about the representation on this Fifth Spirit Tarot deck is that we're shown kind of these three cups essentially that are broken or already used up or empty. And then we also have the representation of these two other, kind of cups that are filled. So as much as we may feel like there's something that didn't really come together the way that we wanted or didn't really work out in the way that we needed, we have this opportunity to look at, well, what else is here, or what am I left with, or what is there still available to me that maybe I haven't seen because I'm so focused on what I don't have or what I have lost at this time. So it may be a week where we have to kind of sit with ourselves and kind of be like, okay, well, while this may not have gone the way that I thought it was going to, at least I have this, or I still have that, or at least, blah, 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 blah. So maybe kind of keep in mind when things maybe don't quite work out the way that you want them to, or the way that you thought they were going to. It doesn't mean that there isn't something else here that is available for you. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully everything works out and we're not kind of like, what the heck's going on? So with what we need to know this week, we have the 7 of Wands. Now, to me, the 7 of Wands is typically kind of reminding us that we are capable of rising above the noise and the things that maybe feel like we're being kind of pushed to the brink. And so I feel like in a lot of ways, it's a reminder of our own personal power, of finding what is inspiring us as individuals, what makes sense to us on a more not to say individual level, but I think in a lot of ways it's kind of saying how can you kind of stand above these things, and not let yourself kind of be pushed past the edge and kind of be, how can we come back to a sense of understanding what we want, what we need, what our own personal bubble is essentially, and kind of empowering ourselves even when we feel like everything is not working out the way that we thought it was going to. So we may feel like there's some challenges that come up and arise, but at the end of the day, it's almost like, as much as things may not work out the way that we thought they were going to, it's almost saying you have a lot of personal power in the situation, even if it doesn't feel that way. So wands, can be very much about momentum, movement, our passion, fire, what inspires us, a lot of creativity as well. So we may feel like there may be some stuff that we know we should be doing or know that we should be kind of focusing on. And the situation around us may make it a little bit more challenging, but I think that it's kind of saying hey, you need to kind of move into not letting other people remove you from your personal power in your situation, even if it feels as though you're being kind of pushed to the edge and things may not be coming together the way that you thought they were going to, but it's almost saying it's okay. We're going to figure it out, girls. Now with what we need to do, we have the Queen of Swords. And to me, I know a lot of people look at this queen as cold and calculating, and she can be that sort of energy. But at the end of the day, swords are a reminder of our personal power, of our truth, of our, really finding the balance and the justice between the mind and what we're doing and what's happening around us. I think that this week is kind of saying hey, we need to kind of utilize the energy available to us to let us kind of clear away and cut away from anything that doesn't really feel empowering to us as individuals, or that doesn't feel like it's in alignment with how we're trying to show up in different ways. So I think that this is going to be a good week for many of us to kind of maybe get some clarity on our situation, to maybe get a little bit more direct communication and connection, get a clear message about what it is that we want to do, how we want to go about it, and what is kind of the most important and valuable thing at this time with this energy, especially if we have felt like things haven't really come together the way that we thought they were going to, or things have been shifting in a way that feels disempowering. I think the Queen of Swords is kind of here saying, all right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to feeling empowered and more connected with ourselves, with what we have going on here. Now, with what we need to release, we have the Death card reverse. Now, the Death card is all about, rebirth. It is transformation. It's letting go. I know for many people, transformation, letting go, having to release, having to understand that in order for us to kind of move forward, we sometimes have to close out a certain chapter. It can be a bit of a challenge. Now, with this being reversed and being in the release kind of position, maybe this isn't a time to be too hasty about what we're letting go of and why we're letting go of it. And maybe this isn't a time to be like, I need to reshape and rechange and, do a bunch of different things that are going to completely change everything about my life and everything that I understand. While death is a natural part of life's cycle and everything that's living will eventually die, I think we, as humans, can sometimes be so stuck on, I need to hurry up and just kind of get through this phase. I need to go to the next thing. And so we don't really understand what it is that we need to be doing where we are right now currently. So I think with this card, as much as the spring season has kind of now ended, I think it's kind of giving us an opportunity to look at like, maybe it doesn't need to be this huge transition. Maybe it doesn't need to be this big thing that feels so outside of our understanding and the scope of what we have and what we know. And so I think that this is not going to be a time to be like, okay, I need to like redo everything in my life and change everything up. And I need to do this and this and this and this. I think it's kind of saying like, all right, let's take a step back and pay attention to what maybe we're not really ready to kind of let go of. Like, yes, use the Queen's energy of looking at our own empowerment and our own sense of truth in the situation. But this isn't a time to just start ending things just to end things and enforcing a new way of being. There may be some things that are just not quite ready for you to move on from. And finally, with what we need to contemplate, we have the Chariot reverse. So the Chariot rules over Cancer season, which is now we have the sun moving into Cancer. When I think of the Chariot, I think it's one of these cards that can be a little bit of a reminder that we need to align ourselves with like our own personal energies. We need to kind of look at what is trying to shift, what's trying to change, and maybe there's like a sense of movement that we want to kind of have happening. And again, this card being reversed, we're kind of being told and maybe reminded in some ways, like, this is not a time to just kind of like rush into the next thing. This is not a time to just hurry up and get there. And maybe there's something that needs a little bit of our own personal attention, maybe needs a little bit of healing. Maybe we need to kind of slow down a little bit this week. And this isn't going to be a week to just like push and just kind of get into like the next thing. I know for me, Gemini season has just felt super busy, super just like, I'm just going from like one thing to the next thing and not really giving myself a lot of time and space to kind of process what's been going on or to really deal with like what I'm carrying and what, all of the information that's been kind of thrown at me this month. And so in a lot of ways, I've been kind of like, I just want to hurry up and get to Cancer season so I can just kind of like chill and be like in the moment and just like think about stuff and feel stuff and not just be so stuck on like, I'm going through the motions and I'm just doing this and I'm doing that. So I think the Chariot reverse this week is kind of telling us like, maybe we need to look at, where have we been just like, I need that movement. I need that momentum. I need to just like hurry up and get to the next thing and maybe take a step back and kind of look at, where within ourselves have we been just trying to rush certain processes that are not going to be rushed and they're not meant to be rushed. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope that this reading brings you a little bit of clarity. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. And I appreciate all of your well wishes. Please take care of yourself out there. I think that this week is going to be one that's a little bit more introspective, or we have an opportunity to kind of check in and see what the pulse is of what we have going on. And we need to pay attention to the areas where maybe we've ignored a little bit of this energy. So please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.